Thank you for this morning. Thank you for the women that you put in our lives, our moms that have taken care of us, nurtured us, seen us through, and continue to do so. We just give you this morning, Lord. We release everything to you. We just ask you that you take control. Have a willingness to be trust you. I ask for joy in this room. Just bring joy. Because Mother's Day can also be hard. So, Father God, I just ask that you just bring joy, peace, comfort to every racing mind and every racing heart. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen. All right. So, just like quick overview this morning. I'm gonna talk a lot. It feels like work Josh presentation mode a little bit. But it's important to get us all on the same page for this summer and what it's going to look like. So this morning we're going to do that together, and that's not, after this morning, it's not all on me. It's on all of us to make this summer work. But also to those who aren't here. We have like 3 families right now that are doing baby dedications at different places this morning, so that's part of what's going on. But I'll probably do a quick overview next week. But like, we need to help each other, remind each other of all the stuff we got going on this summer. There's a lot of effort, a lot of planning, a lot of energy being poured into the summer, and the hope and the goal is that we become closer with Jesus ultimately, right? We see more freedom in our lives. And we also become closer as a community. But that takes all of us. Cool? How awake are we this morning? Scale 1 to 10. Ian, that's what I'm talking about. Bring it in 8. And Stephen, that 1, I heard it. Golly. I should have brought dark chocolates. I bought dark chocolates for Hannah yesterday, but I should have brought another one. That, and I would have been expensive if I bought 2, because I'd then be bankrupt because they're insanely overpriced. But yeah, let's all stand up, take a breath, or 2, or 3. Let's just deep breath, and then let it out. Yeah, so nice. Thank you, Lord, for air and breathing. Let's do it again. Another deep breath, let it out. It's the natural way to get our brains fired up in the morning instead of all the other stuff we drink and put it on us. Let's do it again. One more deep breath. Let it out. Yes, that's nice. This morning, I need your engagement. Right? So there's going to be opportunity to discuss. I'm not teaching a class. I'm not a professor. I'm doing life together with friends and family. You hear me? Okay. Sit down. All right, let's do announcements. I did the classic don't bring a water thing. No, you give me a water. Thank you. Offering, and get the offering buckets where I go in there. Thank you. Next slide. I will talk money stuff in a little bit. There. This is like a preview of what's to come. But yeah, that's one weekend. We're sitting at 613. That's what came in last week. So just an update on that. We're going to dig much deeper into that in a minute. I changed it. You're good. Continue praying for Bob and Vicky. It was awesome to have them here last week, right? Super good to see them, and very encouraging. They, correct me if I start saying wrong things, but there's a national shortage on the medicine or chemo or both. So this next round, which is the last round, this last round, of course, the last round is going to be very hard on her. Longer days, etc. So May 18th, 17th? Ian, do you know? 18th? I don't know where that came from. But yeah, May 18th, be praying for Bob and Vic as she goes through her last round. It's going to be hard. Okay? Cultivate. I am going to brag on 11 dudes that came this past Wednesday. We talked about honoring women. This was not planned. I realized like halfway through we were talking, I'm like, oh, this is lined up with Mother's Day pretty good. How did that happen? It's also, last Mother's Day was kind of us putting a flag, planting our flag about where we're at with, we brought Annette on as an elder and how we value women in our church. So it was very, the synergy was very good, or feng shui, as some would say. But it was cool because we had from 6 years old to 14, massive gap of different generations, right? And hearing my dad and knowing, obviously, and seeing that transformation that has happened over the last 3 decades, almost 4 for me. And then hearing Luke and like his perspective being like he has such a better head start. And it was just really cool to see and hear from these dudes and how they view and how they value women. Of course, we had B-rate comedians every 2 seconds. Yeah, raise your hand, you're guilty. But through all that even, it was just very encouraging to, when I asked, are you struggling in how you value women? Or do you struggle with women teaching? Or do you struggle with women in eldership here? There was no questioning. And I've never been to a church where that was not a thing. And that is another head start for us as a church. And we dug into it. We talked about Priscilla and her role as an elder. We dug into women teaching and Great Commission, and through the things that Rick Warren, were all of our Acts, mainly in Acts, I think, the whole time. And we talked about marriages and future marriages. So here's the thing: the boys put in work, and that was their, those who aren't married are laying groundwork for their future, and those who are in the thick of it are healing, encouraging, growing. And so it was very, very good Wednesday. We have one left, and even if you haven't come to a single one, that's okay. These aren't intertwined. So June 7th, Iron Sharpens Iron, No Lone Wolves. So ironically, if you haven't been going, this is the one to come to, because you're not alone, and you can't do this on your own. So stop trying. And then I need to book our knife forging day. Iron sharpens iron, right? Cheesy, but whatever. It'll be cool. I'm just trying to land on a spot as part of it, and then I got one more week of this event at work, and then my brain cells will come back to me. So I'll get that date to you ASAP. All right, next. Sorry. All right, here we go. We're going to start digging into stuff. I'm going to talk money first. There's good, there's bad, and no gray, hence the black and white. I also had put, I was telling Allie, I'd also put like 4 hours into slides. I was being obnoxious, yes. But I in order for everyone to be engaged, they got to look halfway decent. But as I kept doing them, I noticed the quality was starting to tank at 6:30 this morning and 1 o'clock this morning. But anyway, I want to run through this. If you have questions, ask them. Hear me? Why am I doing this? We're still in transition. We found out we can't add a net to the account because of some legality issues currently. It's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to figure out, and we got a lot going on. So this summer is hopefully the goal to get that rectified. Annette will be able to see and be a part of it better, and then therefore I don't and won't do this part. Cool? All right, April 23. So we had our total from April was 2506, which was plus 1991 compared to April 2022. So that's big. April 2022 is also historically the worst month we've ever had in our 9-year history. So while it is good, the very low, the lowest. So I'm a realist, so I want every aspect of it we got to look at. Our average, so April 2023, that's the lowest so far this year. Our average monthly giving's at $34.45, which is up from last year, it's up from $942 more a month. So that's good. However, if you look 2 months ago, we were more like $2,000 more. So what we're doing is we're currently trending down, which is also a little bit of our attendance is also trending down. I don't keep track of that because I don't want to be any more tired than I am, but I keep a mental picture of it. So those two things definitely correlate. We're on pace this year to do 41,000, which is plus 11,000 from last year. So there's definitely growth. Things are happening. We're going from zero to nothing. Which was like our first and foremost goal, right, with giving. So that's a good plus. Here's a crazy thing I do want to share that's not up there. And I don't know. So I have a spreadsheet that keeps track of every month since 2014. And, it does all the cool calculations and all that. But for whatever reason, I never added a cell that would add up all the year historically. And it kind of popped in my head as I was staring at them. This little tiny joint has, we don't have this money. This is, it comes in, it goes out. That's how our money situation goes. $342,000 has gone through this church in our history, which kind of blew my mind. I don't know, to you guys, that's a big number to me. And I don't care what other churches are doing, that's big for us. So, well done in that regard. Those who are currently going, those who are no longer here, all that good stuff. God has been faithful. We have zero debt. We have zero debt. Our bills are always paid. First goal. And we always hit that one. So, any questions? Nothing. All right. Summer 2023. So that'll officially kick off after Memorial Day weekend. Next week, no church here. Or not next week, 2 weeks. I just really want that weekend so badly to be here. I cannot tell you. Oh. So yeah, Memorial Day weekend, no church here. Relax, rest, all that good stuff in between. And then we'll come back here June 4th. Church will be here this summer. So no big change as far as small groups and all that good stuff. Since 2020, summer has turned into our, lack of better terms, experiment and see what God wants to do, and let's try new things and see what works and what doesn't work. That will definitely be the case this year. So first, though, I want to hit important dates. So this is where we take our phones and we make notes, put in calendars, or take a picture, or all three if you need it, because some of y'all need that. I'm not calling Seth out by name, but just playing. But what you got to understand is like, you're wanted at these things. Like, we're not doing these for the sake of doing things. We're really not. The point of this is so we can experience God together, grow together, bring new people in, and that doesn't happen just because we make a cool slide and we come up with a cool plan. That's a part of it, but the bigger part is you guys being all in and you guys being responsible and knowing when things happen and knowing when things start and knowing how you can help, because it takes all of us. Cool? Dad mode's activated this morning, apparently. All right, next slide. Thanks. All right, so Forthright's going to do their thing again this summer. It's been a nice change of pace, keeps us connected. It's a different vibe, different energy, all that good stuff. So the first one will be June 16th at 7 p.m., East Point venue, which is where the old BMV is here in town. We used that for worship boot camp a couple weeks ago. Great spot. Ladies are super cool, giving us a great price. So just a different place to be in the community and just change things up. We'll have some new songs. We'll play some old songs. There's going to be some new musicians and then some same musicians. So this is an opportunity, right, to worship together. But it's also an opportunity to bring people in. If they believe in Jesus or they don't believe in Jesus, if they want to experience something or they don't want to experience something, the reality is like the music level is a notch higher. We practice a lot longer. I turn on musician Josh versus let's just go with the flow Josh. And we want to put out something there that we're proud of, we're happy with, and all that good stuff. So even if someone doesn't believe in Jesus, they just want to hear good music, this is an opportunity to bring them to this kind of thing. I think that's it. Any questions from that? Kind of self-explanatory, I guess. Cool. Oh, actually, I have a question for you. The first one last year, I had the digital hymnals that had our lyrics to the songs where you use a QR code and you just bring it up on your phone. No. The reason why, if y'all are going to use it, I'll do it. But more than just the moms, I need to know not that you're not worth it, but the hours that go into this was a little astronomical last time. I'm better at it now, and it'll be faster, but it's still, it's the program because it's cheap. And anyway, the accessing it. Anyway, is this something that you guys want as lyrics for Forthright Nights? Yeah, raise the hands. Yes, Stephen and John, thank you. All right, we're half. I'll ask the question next week and see if that goes up. All right. Cade can't read. He don't count. Sorry. From that's interesting. All right, next. All right, 4th of July party, not on the 4th of July. On July 2nd. This has been a tradition we've been doing forever. But yeah, July 2nd, our place, 5 p.m. start. Currently the menu is sitting at, as far as the meats, pork butt, chicken thighs, and ribs. So come hungry. We're going to do this time a little bit differently is Forthright's going to play. So at the end, 8:30ish, we'll play a set. It seems like the last couple of years has been a missed opportunity, so we're going to take advantage of it. Again, this is another opportunity to just bring people in that just want to eat and just get loved on. And a different, one of my coworkers, he was telling someone else about it recently, a year later, and he was just saying, yeah, and the people were just so nice. Like I didn't know anyone there, but everyone just welcomed me, and like just chatted up with me. It was like the coolest thing ever. So, well done. But that has made an impact on him a year later. That's what you guys are known for. So, don't be afraid to invite coworkers. The moral of that story, family, friends, neighbors, etc., etc. Cool? All right. August 4th, night. We're doing once a month. This will be at our house, old school, in the living room type thing. Again, just another opportunity to bring people. Same time, might get some other bands to play before us. I got to figure that out. All right, next one. Kingdom Feast. Dun, 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 dun. So this is how we're going to cap the summer as far as event stuff. Historically, we've done this at the end of July, and that we realize isn't the smartest plan. So in order to pull this off is a lot of work. So give people the prep time, but also give people the time after to rest. So we got a nice long weekend with Labor Day weekend. That's kind of the idea behind it. We're going back down to Moments, down to the hangar. Father-in-law is stoked about it. We didn't get any complaints. No bad reviews. No, they loved it. So I'm excited. I think now we kind of know what it is and what I think it's just going to be even better. So September 2nd, again, this is just another opportunity to eat. But if you make it, they will come, has been the thing I have learned over the years. So that's one you gave me. Apparently this address from last year that we used for this slide is no longer correct. So, well, because we moved it too, I guess. All right, next week will be another number. Moments, middle of nowhere. Don't put that down because you'll get lost. It's in September. Half you're going to forget about it anyway. All right. September 2nd, Kingdom Feast. I guess there is a different goal and aspect to this. Bring whoever you want, but there's a real desire to bring in people from different churches. We typically get too wrapped up in the factions, if you will. And so this is an opportunity to, it's a Saturday. It's not going to interfere with Sundays and all that good stuff. From people from different churches to come hang out, get to know each other, share a meal together, worship together, pray together. So if you know people from other churches that are looking just to hang out with other good people, this is the opportunity. Cool? Any questions on that one? How are we doing so far? Good? Okay. I think I'm done with the events. What's the next one? Okay. Buckle up. I was driving into work one morning about 2 months ago or so, and I'm going to show you the map in a second, but I got this picture of this map of this gym, and it was just it took me 15, 20 minutes to make it in Photoshop. I got to work, and that's what I worked on. And took no time because it was just so clear. And still had to work out some kinks and whatever. But in those moments, I've, over the years, recognized God's trying to tell me something here. And there's a lot of things to be excited about. I'm not gauging things, but this is probably the most exciting thing for me in a long time. There's a level of getting back to our roots to 9 years ago that I'm not going to say we lost, but it's just growing and changing and all those kinds of things. And the idea is to have this living, breathing church that's in motion. this is okay to do every once in a while, but this has never been the heart of sit down, listen to a guy talk or do that talk, and then maybe sing some songs, do announcements. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. It's just not was the original vision. And there's times we still experience it, like last week, right? And there's times where we do different things outside here and all that. But I want to get into more of a consistent basis. So this entire summer is going to be dedicated to this. And again, this is going to be weird for some of us here. And that's okay. New things are weird. And some of the stuff is going to be very refreshing to some of us. It's going to hopefully breathe new vision, right? Energy, some rest, going into the fall and into the winter of this year. So let's see the next slide. So it's how hard is it to read this? You are got the thing going on. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. Do I got enough rope? Yep. Okay. So how do I want to start this? I'll start at prayer. So that corner back there, we're in an area of couches, rugs, tables for if you're in need of prayer. Or you just want to spend time with God. Where like you just want to take the whole morning, I'm going to spend time with God because this week I didn't spend a minute with him. Or if there's something going on in your life that you need prayer for, or if you need healing, whether that's physical, mental, emotional, etc., that corner is going to be the place for you. We're also going to have guides on the tables. So like for me, I need like a direction versus just opening up the Bible and reading it. I'm not good with that. I need a direction. So there'll be like different topics on the tables to give you direction to where to look and study and that sort of thing. So again, if the week was crazier than normal or you're just not in good practice with it, that's a real thing too. This is an opportunity to start putting in those habits and learning so that you can take those from Sunday morning to Tuesday morning, the Thursday, the Friday, etc. Any questions on the prayer part of it? Fairly, right? Below that is what we're calling the well, which was something from like 6 years ago that we had a dude that was going here and we had a word about it. And it was really cool, but we just never put it into play, practice, whatever you want to say. But that's going to be like kind of here-ish in the middle on the left. My left. Some of you are all right. But that's going to be an opportunity to learn about the prophetic. There'll be some like teaching, guidelines, understanding, Bible verses, all those kinds of things. But also there'll be people there. If you come in, how many times do you come in the morning and you just feel empty? Raise your hand. Or maybe you come in the morning and you're looking for direction. Ever come in? You just feel lost. You don't know where you're going. You don't know go left. You don't go right. Or maybe you just come in like beat up, right? And maybe the work week was beat up, and you just need some encouragement. So the well is a place to get that living water. So there's going to be people at that place to speak into your life, and hopefully help fill you up. Any questions? Thoughts? Cries of outrage? No? Okay. I'll just keep going around. So worship pits, no, you're not going to throw down and hit each other. Little rectangles here and here. We're going to figure that out. But that's an area, obviously, you can stand, jump, sit, kneel, yell, scream, whisper, whatever it is that, however it is you worship, that's kind of like going to be the dedicated space as there's a lot of things going on. So far, that's pretty self-explanatory, right? We got prayer going on, we got the prophetic going on, we got the worship going on. Now, as far as the worship goes, we're going to have one team this summer. Why? Because to give everyone else rest, we're going to have our old dogs, I'm talking about myself, play. We don't need to practice, so therefore Thursday nights, giving everyone a rest, including ourselves, we're going to have a song bank for you guys, like a song menu, if you will, and it'll be at the tables, and we'll have a dry erase board somewhere up here, and we'll have 5-6 blank spots. So whatever worship song you want to worship God with that day, bring it up until all 6 are filled, and we're just going to play them. So, we'll have a decent-sized bank, and then we're just going to let Spirit go. There's a plan, but the plan is to have lack of a plan. Do you understand? Like, Holy Spirit move. All right, going around, creative worship. We've been talking about this since the dawn of time, but we've either finances, how do we do it, and all the other things that go into it, haven't been able to do or didn't execute. So we're going to do it. So we're going to have easels, painting, drawing, markers, crayons, colored pencils. There'll be a section if you're a writer, if you want to write poems, you want to write lyrics, whatever it is that you can express your love to God, that's what that space is for you to do it a different way. There's a million ways to worship God. This is an opportunity, if that's inside you, to do that and honor him well. Any questions on that? That'd be sick. Yeah. Good. Get with my mom or Tori, either one. They're going to head up the supply aspect. Thank you. Anything else? Okay. Yep. None. This guy. I do appreciate Charles because he's one of the only people that knows all the youth 90s worship, or not worship, just Christian songs. And I can throw out a band and he's like, oh yeah, I know that. Oh yeah. And then, anyway. So yeah, he said DC Talk, which we found a DC Talk poster of mine from when I was a kid here when we cleaned the place out. Signed, of course. Good. No, I kept that. Come on now. Anyway. And then lastly, kids. So kids are going to be in that back corner. We'll have couches. We're talking about getting like a pop-up tent. Talking about like making like their own section where they can like create their own whimsical. They're going to be coloring. They're going to have cardboard so they can build like their own space. And there'll be a lesson that goes on. And then it'll be time for them to be kids. Why are they going to be in here versus separated? I think I answered it by saying it. But kids are impressionable. They need to be able to see us worshiping. They need to see us praying. They need to experience that. Even if they don't know what's going on, they're taking it on. They're taking it in. And over time, this stuff becomes more natural for them. That doesn't mean you can't, if you have kids, that doesn't mean you can't go into a nursery. Nursery is always open. We will have like rocking chairs out here too for moms. If you want to, try to do the nap thing, like Kate is right now, you can do that. Just as much as we don't want separation of the kids, we don't want separation of the parents. So like it's just keeping everyone in. But nursery will still be open. Any other questions on kids? Nothing. Okay. Then the middle. This is also something early vision for the church was to have a giant dinner table. I mean, that was like day one, 2014, 2013, actually. We are going to have breakfast every morning. We're going to share a meal. Now, to do this, a lot of moving pieces here, people. And I think it's important that just like we've been doing a better job of giving and taking ownership of this place and people are stepping up and serving, the same is going to go with this summer as far as food. We're all eating, so we all need to bring something to the table, right? But we're going to make it super easy, or easy-ish. On this list is like sides, condiments, utensils, that sort of thing. There's a huge list of all the dates and all the things. Give this a look. We're gonna need everyone to sign up for a few things probably. There's like milk and butter and syrup and all that kind of thing, right? Go ahead, hit the next slide, Victoria. So this is what the menu looks like. So this will correlate with what this is passing around. The first one, we're going to do some breakfast breakfast burritos and tacos. I'm excited about breakfast fatties, apparently. Yeah. Who isn't? We're going to do pancakes and French toast, breakfast fatties, create your own omelets. Obviously, July 2nd, we won't have church here. That'll be the party. We're going to do bring your favorite cereal. So, like, whatever your favorite cereal is, bring it, share together, that sort of thing. We're going to do breakfast sandwiches, breakfast casseroles, continental, breakfast, steak and eggs, breakfast bowls, America breakfast, I mean bacon and eggs, hash browns, that sort of thing. And then muffin and donuts to end out. So, take a look at that thing as it's passing around. Do what you can to help make this thing go through. We'll have it again next week. There's like 2 or 3 pages, so it's lengthy. And it doesn't mean you have to wait until then. Like if it's something that's like doesn't perish, obviously wait until then. But if there's something we can store, syrup, we have a place we can store all those things. So don't wait till the last minute. That sort of thing. Questions on food? It's being passed around now. Yep. And it's lengthy. So I'm guessing not everyone's going to get to see it this morning, but that's fine. We got a couple weeks. Food's going to be ready at 9:15. So you're going to come in, get your plate. That's how this is going to work. And I'm not calling no one out, but y'all show up whenever you want anyway. So that's why we're just going to start at 9, and then as we usually in, grab your food, 9:30-ish. I'll probably pray, or someone will pray, and we'll get the kind of the mornings kicked off. We're going to bring back the mic of the people. For those who don't know and haven't been here since the beginning, the mic of the people is an open mic. That will be there during breakfast to share what God's doing in your life. Like, what are positive things God's doing in your life? What are the things that you're seeing growth, or what happened during this week? There was a time we were really good at it, and it's not as great as it used to be. We need to share. 1, it brings hope. 2, it honors God. Let's do it. What are the things that God's doing in your life, praises, that sort of thing. So the mic will be open during breakfast to share those things. Far as like teaching, messages, discussions, I'm not going to say there won't be any. I believe that God will do something. It's just that I'm not sitting down and planning this summer out and getting, not that, Names of God thing was awesome. Like, that's great. I just want to lock myself in. Whatever happens that week, if something, God gives me something, all right, let's rock and roll, will be the heart behind that. Little thing, maybe it seems, there'll be no head of the table because our king is the head. I'm not going to be super cheesy and put an empty chair and that sort of thing. But I do think it's important. I think as, if you come from a family you've seen on TV, you've seen on shows, it's kind of implanted in our brain, the person at the head of the table is in charge. And that ain't me. That's Jesus. So that's going to be empty for him. Cool? So don't try to sit down there is what I'm basically telling you. There'll be no chair. Don't bring up a chair. Okay, so goals. I'm a goal-oriented person. Our first and foremost goal is that we experience God on a new level this summer, right? Like we're open up to something new that we haven't experienced, that we haven't seen, or maybe rekindle some of that maybe we feel like we've lost. And so that's like number one. So we're seeing God work in our lives differently. We're giving him the opportunity to do whatever he pleases versus what we want, right? Like it's free. The room will be about freedom. And too often we just I get in it, taskmaster, like I want to kill that this summer. Just like as much as we can as we're smoking meats and doing all the things that got to get done. But that's really the goal. Let God be God. Let's not worry about all the little stuff. And so I think when we can let go is when we're most vulnerable, when we're most humble, that's when God can actually work in us. So if we're all coming with that goal, there is going to be a shift here. Like God can shift anything, but there's also a willingness that needs to happen out of us. So when we walk through the door or while we're driving here, it can't be about all the things that are going on. Ain't no one here that isn't not going through something bad or hard or heavy, right? And I'm not telling you to ignore it. This is not a place in which we ignore anything. But come here expecting God to move. And in doing that, if we expect God to move, we need to expect that ourselves will move. We can't have expectations that we're not willing to do ourselves. And that's what a church in motion looks like, feels like, tastes like. So the first goal is growth in us. And we're engaged. This can be some of us understanding what it means to walk in the Spirit. We're not all there. No one's fully there also. But I'm talking about on a consistent basis of what it means to walk in the Spirit and be able to live in that and see it and recognize it when it's happening. So these are the things that are going to come up, boil up out of us. The other part is something that maybe one-on-one conversations I've had, but other than that, I don't think I've ever used this thing informally. But we need to grow as a church. And what I'm talking about is humans. And that hasn't been always a focus, a want, desire, but a consistent focus where I know that it can feel like we're taking the summer off. That's not the expectation. That's not the goal. We're not taking the summer off. God doesn't take summer off. We don't take summers off. So actually, I want to flip the script on that. And this summer, we need to grow. Now, we need to grow, first of all, because that should be the desire of our hearts to reach people for Jesus, first and foremost. there's also a human level of why we need to grow. We need more help. We need more people that have talents and gifts that God has given them and give them the opportunity to grow in those things. Right? We talked about it pre-2020 about sustaining and being to this level of sustaining. We talked about it in January. There's been improvements, but we ain't there. So the summer's got to be about bringing in family, friends, neighbors, coworkers. And if you're telling me, I've invited everyone I know, it's time to start inviting people you don't know. So we'll have invite cards next week that you guys can have on person, on yourself. That's what it means. To be able to give to someone randomly. If God points someone out for me, someone lights up when I need to talk to them or I need to pray for them. Now, I would say 75% of the time I ignore it because I'm a wuss. But this will be a really easy, it's always better when you can give someone something, That's like sales 101, actually. But the reality is I am willing, again, to put in the effort to creating such things, but there's also now an investment part of spending money. I have done this in the past, and then I get done as just a stack. Like I printed off 100. Well, there's actually 73 people that go to this church. But let's just say on a consistent basis, 40. So everyone can have 2 1/4. That's it. So when I print off 100, Josh didn't print off too much, okay? I don't want to print those off and they go wasted. I don't want to burn them. I don't want to find another stack like we found stacks of different things as we were cleaning up. I don't want to do that. We got to make a commitment to each other that we're going to do what we say we want to do and not just expect someone else to do it for you. Sorry, dad mode engaged this morning. So, everyone hear me? This is on all of us. Every single one of us. I'm just going to check my notes and make sure I've hit every nook and cranny. Any questions, thoughts? How many are like goal-oriented people? Raise your hand. Oh, 25. What's holding you back from being goal-oriented? Those who couldn't raise their hand. Go with the flow. Yeah. I love that honesty here. I love it. Growing up with a net being so goal-oriented, just shifting a little bit from, that's good. It's healthy. Nothing wrong with it. Yeah, I think flexibility is key because the goals in which we try to create or we think it's for ourselves, sometimes our goals aren't right. Like that's the first and foremost. Like I want to be in the NBA. That's not happening. I'm 5'10", 5'11", whatever. That ain't gonna happen. So there's probably some truth to that, but I think if you are walking in the Spirit and in good communication with your King, you can create goals together. And what that does as human beings, we need direction. Because without direction, we are aimless. And when we're aimless, we go wherever we want, and then it turns into doing whatever we want, right? So there's a little bit of be flexible because you want to honor God well, but don't be flexible because you're too scared of what is to come or not to come. This wasn't planned. Anyway, the reason why I was asking a question, when I say grow people, I need a number for me, just so I can be, again, just focused. And then it also allows correction. I think that's the other thing goals do, is that even if you don't hit your goal, now you can ask, why didn't I? And then you start, okay, I could have done this better. I could have done that better. And then you learn, now it's a learning opportunity for the next goal in which you choose to set. So my personal goal, what I see for this is 4 new people a week. 4 new humans a week, which equates to 48 new people this summer. So just kind of, again, there's 36, 38 right now. A tenth of us need to do that per week. Also, goal setting, don't set insane bars, right? Be realistic. So anyway, I'm just throwing it out there so we can stay focused, pull in the same direction, and see fruit. Anyone here not want to see this place grow? Get into a sustainable state? Again, zero desire to be the next Bethel or Living Stones or any other big church that you can name off. Not only no desire, it will never happen. We will get to a place where we will say, hey, we can't do this all. It's time to break up and start another church at another location. And so people can stay close, so people can still love each other, so people can know each other's name. We're never going to get to a point where that's not the case. Now, there's probably the case in this room because you haven't met the person, haven't talked to the person. That's a different topic. But as far as just too many people, a sea of people, sea of faces, we want to reach a sea of people, but we aren't going to maintain a sea of people. There's a difference there. I'm not limiting what God can do. I'm understanding what our limits are. So, just understanding the growth. We have no desire to be on the top 100 fastest growing churches in America. We don't want to do it. Any questions on anything that we just discussed? Yeah, it's good. So yeah, there'll be people in the prayer, kids, and obviously worship team, and then there'll be at the well people to help if you need help, guidance, questions, you need someone to talk to, etc. It's good. Anything else? Seth, nothing? All right. His eyes look like something, that's why I asked. All right. Last thing, related, unrelated. In 2020, 2020 is a hard year for every person in here. And the weight got very heavy. And so those who were here, remember I took a 10-week sabbatical. I didn't fully have a breakdown, but the warning signs were there, and I recognized them, so therefore I took time. And at that time, we said, okay, you're going to do this twice a year, and no one fault but my own, haven't really done a good job of that. The month of July, I will be taking a sabbatical. So refresh, recharge, obviously after the 4th of July party, we'll still do that. I won't be here. Hannah and I got to discuss her and the kids and what that looks like, but I won't personally be here. Again, me coming here is a little different. The roles are different, and I just need to see what God wants, experience new things. I plan on visiting at least one church. There's a church out in New Buffalo that we have a store out there that I've driven by the last 2 years, and there's just something that keeps talking to me about it. So I'm going to go visit there for sure. And there'll probably be a Sunday morning where I just sleep. That'd been cool today. But just to have some rest, some time. The other cool thing, that as we get closer, we'll talk about, not talk about, I want you guys to pray over us, but Seth, Jack, and Jay Will and I will be going down to Indy to record at a professional studio for 4 days. We've been working hard to try to come up with songs, ideas, and express and learn about each other. Those who remember Jordan from Forever at Last, he's working down there. He's got a studio. So it's going to be cool hanging out with an old friend, experience a whole different world. The company he's worked for is actually kind of what I envisioned our church. They have a printing company. They print T-shirts for bands. And then they also have a tattoo shop. They also have a graphic designer on staff to help bands and companies. They also have video editing, doing photo shoots and videos. And then they added this recording studio this March, I think, this year. And now they're talking about what it would look like to start a label, recording label. So the guy who started it's a dude from pretty well-known band, and was a singer, and it's kind of grown into this thing. So I think there's just something there to learn for the four of us. The recording and all that aspects will be great too, but it'll be something new. So did I hit everything? Did I forget anything? All right, I'm going to pray, and then the ladies are going to lead us in some a cappella worship this morning.